Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Jonathan back again with the weekly scuffle, and I'm here to talk about the PBC putting on two shows. The first one being Lamont Roach versus Isaac Cruz. Of course, we all know both former Gervonta Davis opponents. I thought Cruz did well when he faced off against Gervonta, considering it was a short notice fight. The whole replacement at the end. And I think he had a good showing of himself. He's done a lot with PBC since then. I think he's had some good fights and some bad ones. Regardless, Lamont Roach, whatever the record may say, I do believe he won that last fight and got robbed. But that is to be expected when, the house fighter is the superstar. And regardless, that's just how boxing is. Even though we may disagree with it, regardless, I think this fight is going to be very interesting, especially if it is at 140 because Lamont isn't really a big guy. So I think him going up to 140, challenging Isaac Cruz is kind of one of these PBC shows that maybe they pay these dudes good. I'm not really sure how the actual pay structure is, but it's certain fights where you look at them and you're like, why are you taking this fight? It reminds me a lot of Tim Tszyu when, they put him against certain guys in the States when he could just be building his brand in Australia. For Lamont, I would say just wait it out. Maybe fight Shakur Stevenson at some point next year. He said he's willing to give you the fight. That's at 135, but weight class you've only had one fight in, which you had a good showing of yourself. Regardless, I think this fight is an okay fight. It's probably going to be pay-per-view because it is a PBC show and it's supposed to happen in December. So the more we learn about this, I guess the more we shall talk about it. But the big fight is supposed to take place next year, and it is of course Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo. Honestly, this is a good fight. A few years ago, this would have done huge numbers on pay-per-view. Now, both of them coming off a loss, funnily enough, to the people that fight this weekend in Canelo and Bud Crawford, respectively. And honestly, I think both of them, I believe they used to be stablemates. I know they definitely were friends at one point, but you know how it is in the PBC, they only do business amongst themselves. And I do think this fight could do decent at the box office. I think it could be a solid pay per view, maybe 200K, maybe 300K. Not really sure, but honestly, this fight is going to be very interesting. It's going to tell us a lot of, in my opinion, the better fighter, which is Errol Spence, if he's truly done with the sport, or maybe he has a little bit something more left to give. And honestly, I think Errol probably has a better chance of winning this fight, but we'll have to see because he would be going up to 154, I believe, to fight this. Granted, Jermell last fought at 168, so he would be coming back down in weight after being inactive for so long. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this fight plays out. But with that being said, we'll see how all this plays out and see you all next time. Peace.